to the Audi TTRS today. I am beyond excited. I have a lot of plans for this car and they start today. If you haven't seen my last video where I unboxed every single mod that I will be doing to this car, you should definitely check that out. I've officially partnered with 034 Motorsport for my Audi TT build, and we have a lot of awesome plans coming up. Those plans are kicking off today with 034 Motorsport's racing downpipe and midpipes for the TT. Not only are we gonna get increased horsepower and torque, we're also gonna unleash all the glorious noises of the 5-cylinder in this car, and we're gonna get some more turbo noise in there as well. So there's just a lot to be excited about for this install. And this is the first mod of many that are coming up to transform this car into an all-wheel drive monster. Now, I will admit, I'm a little nervous about tackling this. Everyone I've talked to has just mentioned how big of a pain it is to swap a downpipe on the TTRS. Really any Audi. I know Adam struggled with it too. Wish me luck. Oh, and you will need a special drive shaft removal tool because you gotta lower the subframe a few inches, you gotta remove the drive shaft just to get the downpipe out and new one in. It's definitely not an easy job. I think on 034's website, they rate this install as pretty spicy, pretty difficult. They do have step-by-step how-to instructions. I'm just gonna take my time with it. It's a new platform as well, so I know I'm probably gonna get frustrated, but you just gotta get through it to learn it. I'm heading over to the main shop now. I'm gonna throw the car on the lift and get started. Beautiful cast stainless steel downpipe, and these are the instructions I was talking about that they sent. This is the level of spiciness for this install, so you know that gets me excited or worried. I can't tell what I am yet. And just to be a little bit more familiar with everything, I did go ahead and search up a couple of videos so I know what I'm getting myself into. Can we just appreciate how clean it is under here? First thing you do is get this cover off of the car, and I'm going to be removing the stock midpipes first, take away some of these exhaust hangers. Do you hear that? It literally sounds like I'm in a movie and it is enhanced fake rain noises, but no, it is storming again at the compound. This has been happening like 5 times a day. Now I need to take off the engine cover. Alright, intake is off, and now we can see our sensors and our downpipe where it meets our turd ski. And now I need to loosen that up so I can get back under the car and get that stock downpipe out of here. Alright, so the 2 sensors, one right there and one on that part of the downpipe. I just keep feeling like I'm almost gonna strip it and can barely get a wrench down there. So I just disconnected the harness of them. I unplugged them, and I'm just gonna take these sensors out when I get the stock downpipe out of the car, so I can make sure not to strip them or mess anything up. Now that the sensors are disconnected, the V-band clamp is loosened up, I can bring the car back in the air and keep working. So right here is the dog bone mount that we are going to be replacing with our upgraded billet one, and I'm loosening this so that I'm able to tilt the engine. Right now I wouldn't be able to tilt it as much as I need to safely remove the drive shaft, so I'm going to be taking this off completely. So I thought, why not just throw my new 034 one back on when I reinstall everything. But
How bad?
well, I can't see anything. That's pretty bad. It's pretty freaking bad. No, not it.
Bruh, Miss Thing is making us crazy. Look at her.
I wish I could shrink my little hand to a little tiny hand so I could get all the way in there and do all the things. I know why this had the highest spiciness level of difficulty ever. I don't understand how dyes work on cars. I've barely been able to get my hands in there from like any angle to get the shield off the axle. And now the instructions said I need to take the shield that's over the drive shaft as well off. Not only was there like 2 bolts there, there's one there, there's also like one at the very top that like, I don't know how it is humanly possible to get a hand or a tool or anything in there to get the drive shaft shield off. So I'm gonna try and do this without taking that shield off. I already took the shield off of the axle, which was a pain in the butt to get to. It is now time to remove the drive shaft. Now I do have the drive shaft removal tool from 034 Motorsport. I also need to pivot the engine this way so that I have more room here to work the drive shaft out. By pushing this part of the engine up, you're basically pulling the drive shaft towards the front of the car, and that's gonna give us enough room to clear the shaft right here and bring it down safely without damaging anything. If you don't move the engine, you risk possibly ruining the drive shaft or making it very difficult for yourself. So I already removed the dog bone mount earlier that basically prevents you from moving the engine back and forth so that I could do this very thing. I could not find a hockey puck, and this is all I got to pivot the engine up. I just wanted it to be a little bit cushioned from our jack here. So once I loosen up my bolts in the rear, disconnect that, I'm gonna raise the engine up here so it will help pull the drive shaft forward. I'm then gonna have to get Chris to hold that side while I loosen everything up here in the front, and then we can drop down the drive shaft. This is a lot. I'm trying to go step by step. Sorry if I'm not doing the best at recording every single little step. There's just so many micro steps and no room, and it's very hard to film. And yeah, working on new cars is sometimes very hard, but pushing through, gonna get through it.
Yeah?
I think so.
It is. I can feel it. Yeah.
You did it! Keep it level as we come out.
Oh god.
Oh my god. I thought this moment would never come. There she is. Drive shaft. Finally out. But as you can see, since the drive shaft isn't there anymore, we can just drop downpipe out and put our new one in. Oh my god, there's something else that's just grabbing onto the downpipe.
Where?
Something is connected to the car, to the downpipe. I think it's part of the drive shaft shield. I think it's a 9, 14 maybe? We've had one bit of luck all night, and that's at this bolt that I was just showing you. It was not tight at all. I don't know how to feel about that with a bolt not being tight on a brand new car, but I'm gonna take it for tonight and be very thankful. So this bolt that was really hard to get to, like this is my arm. For reference, my arm is tiny. Okay, I got a tiny arm. I don't know how dudes be doing this. All right, so we got lucky, and this was not really tight, so I thank God, because I can only move my hand like this much in trying to undo this. I'm going to take it off, and hopefully we can just rip this bitch out of here.
Really, Collette?
It's the next day. We are back. I just chugged a Celsius. I'm trying to get myself in the zone to finish this project. I actually hit up Chris from Drift HQ and asked him to come over to try and get the V-band clamp off the downpipe, and he did it, y'all. Where's it at? I was working on that thing for like half an hour last night before we just called it a night, and he came over here and pried this off within like 10 minutes. So this is finally off, which means our downpipe is ready to come off the car. And that brings us to our next challenge. So I'm really hoping when we bring the car up, we can just muscle the downpipe out. If not, that is where lowering the subframe is going to come into play. The engine is still tilted a little bit. I put a block in there to keep it at the tilt forward. All right. We had to lower the subframe. I was just hoping we wouldn't have to, or just didn't want to admit it to myself. I saw this one guy comment on a video saying, I did it without doing that. And I was hoping that one guy would also be me, but no. All right, there's no way around it. You gotta lower the subframe. Another thing, you also have to take off the drive shaft cover and the axle cover. I tried to get away with it without taking off the drive shaft cover and ended up having to, but it was easier to get that cover off once the V-band clamp and the downpipe was already loose, because you could kind of push the downpipe over and it let you get a really difficult Allen to get for the cover, and that came off easy. Yeah, gotta lower the subframe. Wish me luck. All right, everything is loosened up to lower the subframe. That was a little sketchy, but we got it done. On each side, loosen the 2 bolts here, and then the one here, took that all the way out. Loosen 2 bolts here, one there, took it all the way out. Loosen this bolt on each side, and then the last ones I loosened were up here. You go through the arm to get to it, and it was really sketched because the first one we loosened, it like jolted down, but ended up catching itself. So just for safety, I had this tall jack right here. I still have the engine tilted and it won't tilt back because I shoved wood there. You see how much it goes up and down now? That is so sketch. The whole front of the car, you see that? Okay. Ugh. Hopefully that's enough. Pry up the heat shield.
car?
No, I moved the engine, I tilted the engine more, and then there was part of the heat shield that was touching it, so I just
Part it off?
tried hammering it out of the way. I might have put a hole in it, but that was it. It was stuck on the heat shield, and I think we had to tilt the engine more. So you need all of the drop of the subframe, as much as you can get, and the engine as tilted as possible. Oh my God, downpipe. Finally out. The whole time it was caught on this massive heat shield because this goes all the way up there and then over part of the downpipe, and it was getting caught on its way out. So I just took a pry bar and kind of like hammered this part of the heat shield up, but I didn't really have another option, and then that just freed the whole thing and it dropped down. I did have to max out the tilt that you can get forward with the engine, and you need all the free play in the subframe to lower it as well. And it finally came out. Wow. The stock downpipe is out. I have to take off the O2 sensors since I kept them on. So I need to take these off, transfer it to our new downpipe, and finally we can start on the install and then have so much fun putting everything back together. I feel like we are through the worst of it, and now we kind of know what to expect. So we're gonna get these new parts on here. Got the mid pipes right here too, so I'll have to unwrap them. And hopefully the install goes smoothly. Just when I thought it would get a little easier, I just got the drive shaft cover on. It took a lot of wrestling to get it in there. The downpipe still isn't attached to the turbo. I wanted to leave it loose so I could move it around as I was trying to get that cover up there, and I'm glad I did, because to get different bolts I either pivoted it this way or that way. That is finally on there. It's awful. Now I need to get this axle cover over as well. This axle link goes back in there, and I actually use one of the studs that I put in through the drive shaft cover. So I'm going to work that in there, and then we can move on. See the light. We are almost there. Okay, downpipe is secure up front. I still need to tighten the V-band, but it's tight enough. We got the hanger right here mounted onto it, and now we start the process of putting back in the drive shaft, then the exhaust, then all these little clips, and we got one heat shield I gotta throw back in there. Hopefully this goes a lot smoother, putting the drive shaft back in. Exhaust should be pretty straightforward, and I think we are pretty much downhill from here.
Thank God.
Thank God. Thank God. I have not put in my new dog bone mount yet. This is the new one by 034. This is the old one that I took out. I have not put this back in yet because you still want to move the engine to have room to get the drive shaft over this part right here. So we still need to move the engine forward to lengthen the drive shaft area, to slip it over, and then we can put the dog bone mount back in and secure everything after we get the drive shaft in.
What is this bag for?
What do you want it to be for? We are in the home stretch, baby. There's been a lot going on today. We were prepping the Corvette for a track day I'm doing tomorrow morning early, and I've been over here with the Audi, got a video going up today. There's been a lot going on, but guess what? We are on the home stretch for this thing now. We got the drive shaft back in. It actually didn't give us any problems, so that was pretty amazing. Exhaust is up. I still need to tighten up the mid pipes, but before I did that, I wanted to tighten up the downpipe in its final position, so I tightened that. Now I'm gonna bring the car back up, finish tightening the mid pipe. We are finally here at this glorious moment where we can put on the engine cover and this be the last step. I feel like we've been working on this car, Chris, for like a month.
Yes, we have.
It's been 2 grueling days. But we're almost at the end.
Hey. Let's start her up.
Start it.
Start it, please. Please, girl.
Alright, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna be back here.
You ready for this?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Ready? What do we...
Exhaust leak at the coupler to the mid pipe. Because they did fit a little funky, but I think we need to like wrench them down a lot harder.
This is...
She needs to go back up. All right, it is the next day. We did have the couplers that connect the mid pipe to the back to the exhaust. Those were loose, and the V-band clamp on the downpipe was loose as well. So tighten those up, and then we were good to go. I wanted to wait till the next day to get somewhere where there was light and where we could safely do some passes so you can fully hear the difference of this thing. And I will say, I was very shocked. When I did a few passes at the compound, I was blown away by how much more power it feels like this thing has without any tune from 034 Motorsport yet. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get to some pulls, and I'll send Chris to the back so you guys can hear what it sounds like now. So there is a disclaimer, until the new tune comes out from 034 for the 2021 Audi TTRS, or the only thing freaking out is the launch control that's on the stock ECU. But the new tune from 034 Motorsport will change that so I can do my launches in this car and possibly even spit some flames. So that's gonna be pretty freaking awesome. So right now I can't do one, even though it sounds really, really cool. The computer just freaks out and doesn't let you go. But I wanted to get Chris's reaction and have you guys hear it from the inside because it is wild. This thing like pulls now. It is a bit laggier, which I'm hoping the tune will help out a lot. Like it really has some time before it kicks in and pulls, but you can just immediately already feel the power difference. So are you ready, Chris? Listen to that. That sounds so much more gnarly. I love it. So like I said, it is a little bit more laggy now, and then it just hits. Like, it hits so much harder than it did before, and I wasn't expecting it to be as crazy as it is because there is no tune yet. It's just stock ECU, stock tune. I'm just shocked at the power gain already, and this is just like stage one. This is the very, very, very tip of the iceberg for everything that we're going to be doing to this car. So it just lets me know that I need to get ready. I need to buckle up because this thing is about to be turned into a beast. Already just the noise and the engine notes that we've gained from the downpipe and the midpipes and the power, I'm stoked. And I can't wait for what's next. I'm not about to make noise in front of the top, Chris.
Do it. He's right there. You won't do it.